Welcome back to a warm embrace, a soft place for the hard parts of being human. Last week we spoke about boundaries. Today, we're talking about something that quietly sits underneath them. Capacity. Because sometimes we don't say yes because we want to. We say yes because we feel like we should. And somewhere along the way, we forget to ask a very simple question. Do I actually have the capacity? Sometimes kindness isn't limited by love. It's limited by capacity. One of the biggest shifts in my own healing came when I realized this. Capacity isn't character. Being unable doesn't mean unwilling. It doesn't mean uncaring. It doesn't mean selfish. It simply means you're human. Sometimes we judge ourselves harshly because we can't show up the way we'd like to. But capacity changes. Character doesn't. A good person can still become overwhelmed. A generous person can still become exhausted. A loving person can still need rest. And none of those things make them any less loving. I like to think of capacity like a phone battery. Some mornings you wake up at 100%. Other days, life has already been asking things of you before you've even had breakfast. Work, family, stress, grief, health, decision-making, every conversation, every responsibility, every emotional load quietly uses a little more battery. The mistake many of us make is expecting ourselves to operate at 100% while quietly sitting at 20. This one took me a long time to learn. I want to help, and I have the capacity to help are not always the same sentence. Sometimes they overlap beautifully. Sometimes they don't. And that's okay. Love doesn't disappear because your energy runs out. It simply means your resources are limited today. There's a quiet kindness in recognizing the difference. Because saying yes when you don't truly have the capacity often means neither person gets the best version of you. Many of us keep giving anyway. We say yes. We squeeze one more thing in. We stay a little longer. We solve one more problem. Until eventually, our body starts saying no for us. Sometimes through exhaustion, sometimes through irritability, sometimes through resentment. Because overextending doesn't create more capacity. It simply empties what little we have left. We rarely feel guilty about charging our phones. We understand they won't work otherwise. But when it comes to ourselves, rest suddenly feels selfish. The truth is, Rest isn't something we earn once we become completely depleted. It's how we prevent depletion in the first place. Rest protects tomorrow's capacity. And the people who genuinely love you benefit from a rested version of you far more than an exhausted one. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is this. Sometimes you've got to disappoint other people to avoid disappointing yourself. That doesn't mean becoming unkind. Doesn't mean becoming unavailable. It simply means recognizing that every yes costs something. Saying yes to everyone else consistently means saying no to your own well-being. Eventually, you'll have nothing left to give. Someone may feel disappointed because you couldn't help them today. But disappointment doesn't always harm. Sometimes it's simply reality. People often adapt. Sometimes they even surprise us by finding another way. Not because they were incapable before, but because we'd always stepped in first. Let's pause here for a moment. Is there somewhere in your life where your heart keeps saying yes, while your capacity quietly whispers no? And what might change if you believe that honoring your limits wasn't letting people down, but allowing yourself to keep showing up for the things that matter most? If you spent years believing your value came from being helpful, having limits can feel unsafe. Your nervous system may mistake rest for failure, or boundaries for rejection. Not because they are, because they're unfamiliar. Sometimes the discomfort isn't telling us we're doing something wrong. It's simply telling us we're doing something differently. Capacity isn't something to apologize for. It's something to honor. Because protecting your energy today allows you to give more genuinely tomorrow. You don't honor the people you love by abandoning yourself. You honor them by protecting the version of you that can keep showing up. Thank you for listening to A Warm Embrace. Take what lands, leave what doesn't, and be kind to yourself today. I'll see you next week.